You are born in the slave quarter of an estate in the outskirts of ancient Rome. Immediately, you're handed to your mother. She names you, not in Latin, but in a language your grandmother taught you. The estate overseer names you something else later, something happy. That's the name that goes into the ledger. The name your mother gives you becomes a secret only the two of you share. Your mother is a petite woman with calloused hands and a face that's unreadable in front of the wrong people. And your father, she never mentions who he is. Your first memories are of your mother carrying you on her back while she works. You sleep while she hums long-lost songs her mother also hummed to her. By the time you turn 3, you've already learned the rhythm of labor, as you're already assisting your mother. The other people in the slave quarters are your first introduction to the world outside of your mother. There's old Sextus, who tends the animals and carved you a small wooden bird from scrap timber. You love it so much, you sleep with it for years. Then there's Horatia, who rumors say has had 6 children and doesn't know where any of them are. You always wonder how they went missing, but you never take the rumors seriously. You are 7 when a woman 2 cells down gives birth. You know this because the woman couldn't stop talking about it. 3 weeks later, the baby is gone, and she is back in the fields. You ask your mother what happened. She is quiet for a long time. Then she tells you the master needed the baby for something, that he'll return it soon. You accept her answer. That night, you see all the women in the quarters consoling the woman who gave birth recently. You even see your mother and Horatia there. You hear words like, "Don't cry, he'll be fine," and "His new master will definitely take care of him." Then you hear Horatia say, "Look at me, they've taken 6 from me, but I'm still smiling." You look at her face and her smile doesn't look happy at all. It's at that moment you remember the rumors of her missing kids. Turns out, they weren't rumors. Later that night, you tell your mother you know what happened to the women in Horatia's kids, that you know they were sold. Then, with a sad face, you ask why you were never sold as a baby. You ask if it's because you weren't good enough. She laughs and says it's not like that. She explains that some people like you and her are lucky to stay with their mother. She tells you that there are some who stay in the master's household, but do not even know their mothers. Then finally, the unlucky ones who are sold away as babies. From that day on, you understand what the word slave means. You also notice things you never used to notice. Women disappear for weeks and come back pregnant. Babies born only to disappear weeks later. And kids your age or younger joining the workforce. The year you turn 13, your mother starts watching the overseer differently. Not obviously. She has spent her whole life learning not to be obvious. But you notice. You have spent your whole life learning to read her. You understand what she is waiting for when Horatia pulls you aside one evening and tells you what happens every year when girls your age start bleeding. She tells you that the overseer walks through, checks, and decides. She also tells you to pray against getting picked. When you ask why, she just gives you a bitter smile. The morning he comes, the quarter goes quiet. Not silent, just careful. All the girls in your age group are lined up. You've all been told there'll be an inspection. He checks your teeth. He measures your hips with hands that hold no malice, just assessment. You stare at the wall behind him and think of the wooden bird old Sextus carved for you that's still hidden in your cell. After he's done, he moves on. Then he says something you don't quite catch. Horatia finds you afterward. Her face says what her mouth hasn't said yet. "Adequate," she says. That's what the overseer said. It means, you'll do. You spend the next 3 days trying to understand how one word can feel like the ground opening under your feet. Then you stop trying to understand it and start preparing for what comes next. The truth is, adequate isn't a compliment. It's a category. It means you have been measured against a standard you didn't choose for a purpose you weren't consulted about and found sufficient. There's nothing you can do, as the ledger has been updated, From that day on, your mother holds you every night without speaking. You feel her counting something, days maybe. It's the time till your innocence is stripped away. The particular mathematics of a woman who knows exactly what is coming for her daughter and has no way to stop it. She just says your name softly as you both cry together. 2 weeks later, you're led away from the slave quarters to another side of the estate you've never seen before. There, you're assigned a room. Although Horatia and your mother already explained what you should expect, you're still a bit nervous. And that nervousness skyrockets when you see him. They call him Tursus. You know him because you used to steal glances at him whenever he came back from the fields. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and healthy. You already know these are the reasons he was selected. It was part of what Horatia told you the night before. She told you that the Romans have realized that breeding slaves is profitable, and that since some slaves like Tursus are exceptional, they try to breed those slaves like racehorses. The females like you just need to be acceptable enough to not muddy the genetic pool. In simple terms, you're just the carriers. You think about this as you watch Tursus eat hungrily from the supplies. You don't blame him. After all, the room has better food rations than the quarters. But you aren't the only ones here. There are 3 other pairs in the rooms neighboring yours. That's 6 other lives thrown into the same arrangement as you. There's no ceremony or explanation from your masters. Just a room, an upgrade in rations, and the understanding that the purpose of both is a pregnancy. Tursus is not unkind. You noticed this the first night. You also notice that he doesn't look at you the way the overseer looks at you, or evaluates you like the overseer did. Instead, he looks at you like someone who is also in a room he didn't choose, making the best of an arrangement he had no say in either. There is something almost gentle in the way he moves, almost apologetic. Still, it hurts. Not violently, just the normal pain you feel when something that your body did not ask for is happening to you in a room full of other people pretending not to hear. Later that night, you lie still and listen as the estate goes to sleep. Even Tursus is asleep. You put one hand on your stomach, not because anything has happened yet, but because you are already asking yourself the question Horatia probably asked herself multiple times. How long do I have before they take this one? 3 months later, you find out. The mornings give you away first. You feel a heaviness that doesn't lift while your stomach rejects the extra grain ration you were given specifically to support this outcome. But when the midwife confirms what you already know, the overseer notes it in a ledger. Your mother comes to see you when the overseer permits it. She stands in the doorway of your room and looks at you with an expression you have never seen on her face before and hope never to see again. Not grief exactly, just a complicated look that is already saying goodbye to a grandchild that'll never know her. She crosses the room and puts both hands on your face and holds it for a long moment without speaking. Then she says your real name, quietly and firmly. And just like that, you both start crying. The next few months ease into a new routine. The pregnancy earns you lighter work, not out of compassion. It's just that a miscarriage would cost the estate more than the wool you're not carding. So you're moved back to the main slave quarters, away from the breeding rooms, and assigned to food preparation and mending. Your mother is there. She doesn't say much. She just repositions herself in whatever room you're in, close enough to be useful and quiet enough not to draw attention. This is how she shows her love. The other women also show their care in their own way. Horatia checks on you without appearing to. Dika, the baker, saves you the softer bread when there is any. Even Tursus sends you more figs now. Nobody makes a performance of it. They just care for you throughout your term. Your labor comes on a random day. The past week has seen your mother fret more now. Even Horatia dotes over you more. She doesn't care to be discreet anymore. The labor starts before dawn and doesn't end until well into the following night. 18 hours. One midwife, together with your mother and Horatia. You're given no pain relief of any kind. You just bite down on a leather strap until your jaw aches. The midwife works with the efficient calm of someone completing a task. She is completely focused, as she never takes her attention off her work. Well, except to tell you to lower your screaming, or your mother to stop sobbing. Soon, a third cry pierces through your screaming, and your mother sobs. It's a boy. The midwife places him on your chest. He is small, red-faced, and furious about being here. You don't blame him. You just check him quickly and thoroughly. You find nothing wrong. To you, he is perfect. You give him the name your mother whispered to you once, in the language that lives only between the two of you. The estate will name him something else, but he is yours first, even if only for a moment. The next few weeks, you hold him tight. You know you're on a countdown, so you want to make every moment count. So you try to compress a lifetime of care in weeks. But all good things come to an end. One day, the midwife comes to you. You know what that means, so you just kiss his forehead and hand him over. The next day, you're put on a cart to Rome before you can process your love. You're told that the master's sister has also recently given birth. She needs a wet nurse, and so for the next year, you nurse a stranger's child. You think about your son every single day. So to prevent yourself from crying, you transfer all the affection to your master's nephew. But even this bond ends too, as you return to the estate when the child turns 2. When you return, Horatia tells you that your son is still on the estate, just on another side. He is fine. He just doesn't know you. After all, he was taken too young. When you ask how she knows this, she tells you she found out the way women on this estate find out about everything that matters, through the network. The network is how slaves in Rome watch out for each other. It's also how slaves on different estates communicate. It had even been used in the past to organize an uprising. Of course, the masters have no idea about it. Well, at least they pretend not to. You're 18 when you get pregnant again. Same process as last time, except this time, the male isn't Tursus. This man is much older and rugged. Throughout the pregnancy, he never reached out or sent a gift. You'd always thought Tursus care was normal. Turns out, it wasn't. But you also realize that your partners won't always be the same person. When you give birth, it's a girl. And like the last time, she's taken away in weeks. 2 years later, you receive information that she's dead. They tell you it was a fever. At the same moment, you're already carrying your 3rd pregnancy. The grief of the news pushes you to the edge. It even causes a miscarriage. That night, you mourn for both of them. But like clockwork, you get pregnant again the next year. You're 20, and this is already your 4th pregnancy. But unlike the previous one, you carry this one to term. It's a boy. He reminds you of your firstborn. Weeks later, he's also taken away. At this point, you're already numb to it. But you get news that your firstborn has already been sold. He's no longer on the estate. You ask if they have any idea where he was taken to. No answer. It's also around this time Horatia passes away. It happens quietly on a winter morning. Your mother follows 3 years later. Not dramatically. She just never woke up one morning. You see her face finally slack, finally resting. The careful unreadability she wore for years dissolves into something that looks almost like peace. You sit with her for as long as they allow. Then you go back to work, because that is what you do here. That is what she taught you. You get pregnant again when you turn 25. This time there are no complications. You carry it to term and give birth. When the first cry sounds, you feel relieved until the midwife tells you to keep pushing as another one is coming. A few hours later, the second cry is heard. You're exhausted, but smiling. You've just delivered twins, a boy and a girl. But tragedy strikes. The boy dies a few weeks later. This is normal, as twins tend to have a high infant mortality rate. But there's good news this time, as the overseer let your daughter live with you, just like you lived with your mother. The news rejuvenates you, but only so much. The last few years had taken its toll on you. At 33, you look 45. You're now the woman who tells the younger girls to stand straight and keep their faces empty. You say it the same way Horatia said it to you. Years pass as you turn 35. Your daughter is with you, while you don't know where your sons are. Your mother is gone. Horatia is gone. You are the oldest woman here now, and you are very tired. But the system is still running, and you are still inside it. A month after you turn 35, you're picked for breeding. The overseer, a new and younger man, tells you that this will be your last one. You want to refuse, but nobody refuses the overseer. So you accept. 2 months later, you're confirmed to be pregnant. You think this is all life has to offer, until one evening a woman leans close and says, "Your first one, the boy they took, he is alive, and you need to hear what he has become." From her, you hear that your son was sold to an estate near a military garrison in the south. He grew up as a kala, a camp servant, carrying equipment, tending to horses, and watching soldiers train. You try to picture him at 7. You cannot. The last time you saw him, you could carry him on your chest. She also tells you that a war broke out when he was a teenager. You're told the campaign was brutal, and that the general was desperate enough to recruit from the camp servants. He asked for volunteers and promised freedom in exchange for bravery. You're told your son volunteered, fought, and survived. After the war, the general kept his promise. All that happened 3 years ago. Since then, he has distinguished himself in garrison service near Rome. He has clout now, connections, and enough money to matter in negotiations. And through the same network that carried his story to you, he has been sending questions back in the other direction, about the estate, about you. He would like to know his roots. You exchange words through channels that take weeks and carry risk at every point of transfer. Brief messages pass through freed slaves, traveling merchants, and women visiting relatives in the city. He asks if he had siblings. You tell him the truth about his missing brother, sister with you, and his unborn sibling. He knows what the system is. He just can't do anything about it. But what he can do is use the same system to free all of you. He tells you he's coming, but not yet. He says he needs more time and the right moment to approach the negotiation. But he is coming. He is going to buy all of your freedom. You read this message twice in the dark of your cell with your daughter asleep beside you. And for the first time in your life, you feel something dangerous and bright and entirely uninvited. Hope. And with your pregnancy coming to term, you believe it. But not everything goes as planned, and your labor is anything but planned. It happens in the 8th month. It starts with a fever. Then you start to bleed. Your body has done this multiple times. It has given everything the system asked for, and then given more. And now it is telling you with flat honesty that it is finished. You knew this already. You just hoped your body would hold on one more time. The baby comes on the 4th day. A boy, alive, screaming. He's immediately handed to another woman for nursing, while you lie down and try to catch a glimpse of him. You do not hold the baby. You never get to do so. because by the time the midwife comes back to you, you're gone. When the news breaks, the estate records it in the same handwriting used for grain yields and livestock births. One line. No cause of death. No children named. Just a remark. Your son hears the news through the network 11 days later. Immediately, he comes to the estate. He walks onto the estate that made him and buys his siblings. He does this to keep his promise to you. He also sends men to find his missing brother. He makes his promise to you his main goal. And because of that promise, the newborn will never grow up to be a slave. He will never know what freedom costs. He also won't remember you. But your daughter will. She will grow up and tell her own children about a woman with calloused hands who taught her to carry weight without letting anyone see how much it cost. The ledger will record none of this. It never does. But somewhere on this estate, in a cell that will be assigned to someone else by morning, a small wooden bird sits hidden in the well where you left it. And luckily for you, it's the only part of you left in the estate.